Hey everyone, I just made a 16-minute long video and the audio didn't work, so I'm going to do this again and try to do it faster. So in this video I want to talk about changes since top surgery as a person who is not FTM identified. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the difference in how I'm being perceived by other people. So before I had surgery, when I was binding all the time, I feel like people would look at my chest and be confused, or they'd look at my face and then to try to gender me, they would look at my chest. Yeah, so I just felt like kind of, strangers were looking at my chest when it was bound. Now I'm starting to think that I was just kind of paranoid about that, or that because I was thinking about my chest constantly and how it looked and how it felt and how other people might perceive me, I feel like I might have been exaggerating mentally on how I thought people were also thinking about my chest. Either that, or now that I'm not thinking about my chest because I'm comfortable with it, I just don't notice if other people are looking at it. But mostly, not very much has changed as far as other people. Like, I'm not passing at all. I can be wearing like a tight t-shirt with like my nipples poking out a little bit and I'll still get called lady. I feel like the only people who kind of look at my chest in confusion are people who I know that don't know that I had surgery. So like friends that I haven't seen in a while who will see me and notice the change in my body and maybe be a bit confused by it. But other than that, I don't think people really notice. Yeah. Still being called lady. It's weird. Okay, another thing I want to talk about is being naked. I mean, obviously, this is something that would change after having top surgery. But the feeling is so drastically different that, like, I feel like I will never be naked again, kind of thing. Like, being naked before felt like made me feel really nervous, made me feel awkward and vulnerable, and just like not very confident. So just like all of these things and these anxieties that I've always associated with being naked, and I just thought that was kind of the definition of naked, being naked. All these feelings have gone. And so when I am butt naked, sometimes I don't even notice. So that's an incredible feeling. And yeah, that feels really good. The only times where I do feel naked are when I'm actually wearing clothes. And like I notice that, the fabric is touching my chest and touching my back, and like I'm not, like, as much as I hated binding, sometimes that tightness was kind of comforting in a way, and it felt like protection. So now sometimes if it's like breezy under my shirt, I feel kind of naked. So that's weird, huh? Alright, so since I've had surgery, I thought I would be completely at peace with my gender identity and with my body, but that's not the truth. It has just been bringing up other things that, were not in the foreground when I had breasts. because that was just like such a huge thing. They were huge things. So I didn't really pay attention to the more subtle sort of feelings and confusions. So, yeah, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot since surgery is pronouns. And, you know, what kind of pronouns, like what pronouns I'm most comfortable with. I've always been using female pronouns, and just in these past couple months, I've asked my close friends to use gender neutral pronouns for me. So they, them, theirs. And I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I mean, personally, I do feel like a gender neutral person. Like, or rather, I feel like my gender is in the middle, or, you know, somewhere, at least somewhere that is not male, but also not female. So I thought it would make sense to try using gender neutral pronouns. But I just don't feel very different having them used for me. I do like it when like new people I meet will use gender neutral pronouns for me, rather than assuming my gender. Like, I just feel like that's respectful, and that's like a pretty cool thing to do. But other than that, I think I've realized that like I don't really care what pronouns people use for me. I've also been thinking a lot about how I would feel if people used male pronouns for me. And, like, yeah, I just feel like I don't care. Like, being called she or being called they or he don't evoke an emotional response for me. I just, like, it's not, it feels like it's not important for me, even though, you know, my gender is different. Like, I definitely don't, like, I identify with a lot of things that are, you know, I identify with women, but I don't really identify as a woman. Like, I don't feel, yeah, I just don't feel offended to be called she. I don't feel offended to be called he. I just feel like it's, I don't know. My gender identity is complicated, apparently. So, moving on. Other things about my body that have been coming up that I feel like I would want to change. The biggest one that I've been thinking about would be my genitals. Genitals. I hate that word. It's weird. For the most part, like, I feel pretty happy with the parts that I have now. They work for me. I enjoy them. However, I feel like I would be happier if I had the genitals that I would grow if I was on testosterone. Basically, I want a big clit. And I guess it's mostly for sex reasons. Sorry if that's too much information. So I want that change, but I don't want a lot of the other changes that are associated with testosterone. So I've made Oh, one of the things that I've thought of as a solution would be DHT cream. I don't know if you have heard of DHT cream, but I can put a link to a video by Gender Outlaw where he talks about the uses of DHT cream and what it is. But basically, if I were to rub it on my junk, it would grow. I've done a lot of research on it. A lot of FTM guys use it to make their junk bigger along with testosterone. It's also prescribed by, oh, my computer's gonna die. It's prescribed by doctors sometimes for guys who are going for bottom surgery, like metoidioplasty, to make the dick bigger. So in my research, I found on the original plumbing website, there's a section where you can ask a doctor, and this FTM guy, oh shit, oh never mind, an FTM guy who had basically the exact same question that I wanted to ask, having problems, just a sec. So this guy asked, he said he is FTM identified, he's not on testosterone and doesn't plan to use it, but he wants his dick to grow, and he was asking if DHT cream would work for him even though he wasn't on testosterone. And the doctor replied saying that yes, his genitals would grow, however, he might not want to use the DHT cream because it could cause other side effects associated with testosterone, like body hair growth and voice deepening. But the effects wouldn't be as strong as if you were using testosterone, because it's a topical cream that you would be using on a very small surface area of skin. So I feel like I could handle that, like any of those side effects associated with testosterone that might be small, like maybe my voice would get a bit deeper, maybe my body would get a bit hairier. I could handle that. You also only use the cream for 3 months, so I feel like any of those changes that would happen in 3 months would not be substantial. However, you can't get DHT cream in Canada. It's illegal to have it shipped in. You can order it online. It's like, I forget, maybe $120, maybe a bit more. And there's a chance that it could be confiscated at the border because it's illegal. So ideally I'd like to get that. Not really sure how I'd be able to get it. So then I've also thought about testosterone and maybe going on a small dose for a limited time, because from what I understand, that's one of the first things that changes. And there are also some other things with testosterone that I could handle the changes and maybe even enjoy. One of them being a voice that's a little bit lower. And yeah, being a bit more gender ambiguous. But there are some things that I'm really afraid of with testosterone. I'm afraid of the permanent changes, like the way my facial structure would change. Like, I just feel really nervous about what I would look like. I wish that I could, I don't know, figure out exactly what I would look like if I took testosterone. What if it scares me. I'm afraid of getting really hairy. I'm afraid that I will no longer be visibly queer, because I like that about myself. I'm afraid of passing as male all the time and, making my life more complicated in that way, and having to think about the logistics of passing as male, like using male washrooms, dealing with having ID that has a female gender marker, and if I don't look female, so I also worry that I will really enjoy, the added muscle mass and the body fat redistribution, and then just kind of go overboard and go too far and not be able to come back, because I know that I do enjoy being strong and having muscles. Yeah, so this video is getting really long again. Hopefully it works, because I don't want to do it again. So I just have a lot of things to think about. I'm not going to be making any changes anytime soon. For now, I'm just going to enjoy living with my new chest and, try to get on with my life without thinking about these things too much. And if you have any questions or you want me to talk about anything more specifically, just let me know. Okay, thanks for listening. Have a good day.